Why hello there everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. So today we are building a ginormous farm to house all of the crops which came out in the update earlier this week. You guys know the drill with this by now. I'm going to spend a little bit of time at the start of this video chatting about the build, and then we are going to get on to just some chit chat in general. And boy do we have a lot to talk about this week, because of course the update came out, we also had the DLC came out, so we got a lot to get through today. But anyway, let's start off with how the builds went. Again, what it is, we are building a massive farm for all of the new crops in this game. This, as you can see by the kind of square that I've bricked out just in the middle there, that is where my player home is actually going to go, because for some reason I've just never settled on a permanent area for my player home, at least not for about a year. Quite literally for the last 11 months my player home has just been bouncing around my island, as I'll kind of plonk it somewhere and think, yeah, I'll get around to decorating the outside of it soon, and then I never will, and then I'll realise that I want to build somewhere else where I've parked my house, so then I have to move the house, and it's just a whole thing. So I am super happy to finally have somewhere to permanently call home on my island. I've kind of surrounded it, as you're going to see in a little while, with a sort of little crafting area and a place where we have my little outdoor storage, which again, that's a feature of the update which we'll be coming around to in a little bit. I've also got a little outdoor kitchen, and yeah, overall I am at least 90% happy with this build, which again, I'll kind of swing around to this in a little bit, but this build was a little bit of a struggle to get through for kind of various reasons, which again, I'll be talking about in a bit. But the fact that I'm this happy with it makes me even more happy. This area is kind of slotted in so well to the space that I had kind of reserved for it. You might be able to tell, but it's kind of right next to my spooky villager neighborhood, which I did a spook build for a couple of weeks ago, which I'll have linked in the cards and down below if you did not see it yet. It's also on the other side of it is my campsite, which is an area which I decorated before I even started my channel, which the fact that it is A, still there, and to B, pretty much in the same condition that I originally built it in, minus the over infestation of flowers which has just happened over time, I think demonstrates just how happy with this area I really was and still am. It needs a lot of tidying up, but that is something which I will come around to in some point in the future, probably fairly soon to be honest, because I am probably closer to finishing my island than I have ever been over the lifespan of this game, which is very exciting. So the overall vibe for this area was I wanted to go in hardcore with the more forest core elements, you know, going back to my roots a little bit. I've had so much fun with my Colin Crossing core, other elements of my island, but you know what, for the farm I had to go rural, I had to go back to my roots. Maybe it's just because I'm missing home in real life, and you know, I just wanted to get back to the countryside, because I am, as much as I hate nature, I do in fact love it at heart. You know, we have a very special relationship, me and the outside world. But you know what, this build actually turned out, dare I say, somewhat cottagecore, which I know, shock horror for me, I've never been a cottagecore gal myself, but again, 90% happy with this build. So is it a bad thing? I don't really think so. Now, you might notice as we go through this build and I eventually get around to kind of decorating, that I don't particularly use too many new items which came with either the update and the DLC. Firstly, I don't actually own the DLC yet, which again, I'll talk about that in a little bit. It's mainly just because I've been busy, you know, if you want the too long didn't read. So yeah, and just with the items which came with the update, I kind of, and let me know if you kind of feel like this down below, I sort of want to discover the items as organically as I can. I've been trying to avoid videos on YouTube, for example, which, you know, say, you know, all the new items which came in the update and all of this. And even Instagram to an extent, I've kind of been shying away from a little bit, just because I want to discover them as organically as I can, which is wishful thinking, I know. But yeah, if you notice kind of a lack of new items in this build, that is why. But I will say that the new items which I have discovered kind of so far in the little bit of time traveling that I did have to do to get the crops, all of the items are absolutely stunning. I put a picture of this on the Discord last night, but I found just a paper bag And for some reason, I kind of lost my mind over it a little bit, because just the model which was made for it was so stunning. And I think that this is the perfect segue, there we go, in it to talking about the DLC and the update. Again, I don't own the DLC yet, and I will get around to it at some point, but the kind of release of the update and DLC has sadly coincided with the time in my life where I'm kind of busy. And so I sadly don't really have as much time as I would want to be able to invest in playing Animal Crossing at the moment, which, you know, that's just life. We've had 18 months of not being busy at all, and it's a nice change to have places to go, stuff to do, you know, so it's a nice change, but it does mean that some sacrifices of course have to be made, and for me at the moment it means not quite getting around to the DLC, but you know, it will happen at some point. But yeah, how has everybody been enjoying the update and the DLC? If you've got it, let me know all your thoughts about it down below. I again haven't really had too much time to kind of play around to everything so far, but I'll kind of go over my thoughts on everything that I've encountered during the kind of time that I was filming this video and kind of getting everything prepped for it. Firstly, I love how they introduced Brewster and the Roost. I thought it was such an amazing idea for them to incorporate, you know, finding Brewster and unlocking the cafe by incorporating it with Cap'n and his boat tours. I thought that was absolutely ingenious. You know, it kind of killed two birds with one stone. And it was also just nice to see that, you know, Blathers and Brewster are good pals. You know, we got some lore up in here. I really liked that. I took many screenshots of Brewster on his little island when I found him. And again, this is kind of a perfect moment, I think, to talk about the Cap'n boat tours. So far, I've only been on that one where I had to go find Brewster, but I cannot wait to go on many, many more and to just generally hopefully find lots of cool treasures on them. Cap'n is such a sweetheart. As much as I love his singing, do I wish that there was a way to skip it? Yes, I do. I know, come for me, unpopular opinion, I'm sorry. But, you know, your gal's busy. She's got stuff to do. She's got, like, you know, trees to chop. I need to get going. Aside from this, I also love the progression which has been added with Half's Island, how you can move in all the other NPCs, all the new NPCs which came with it. You know, my one gripe with it is that I wish that kind of costs increased incrementally as you added more NPCs to the area. So, you know, I wish that the first one cost 100,000 bells, and then it maybe went up to 200,000 bells for the second one, 300,000 bells for the third one, etc. But maybe this is just coming up from my perspective because I, you know, much earlier on in the game absolutely broke my island's economy with Nooks on and, you know, selling ridiculous amounts of turnips because, you know, online kind of sharing your codes was so big back at the start of the game. So, you know, that could be an unpopular opinion. Let me know if you think that is a good price. You know, 100,000 bells per NPC down below. I could imagine that if you maybe don't have Switch Online and you are kind of going at it completely by your lonesome, that might be a fair price. But yeah, let me know what you think about that. I am also finally in love with the storage shed. It came in absolutely clutch while doing this build, and I can imagine that I'm gonna be, you know, making one to just carry around with me at all times, and it probably means that I will now never ever go inside my house, which is that a bad thing? I don't think so, because she ugly. But you know what, the inside of my house, I'll get around to decorating her eventually, you know, okay, like, again, don't be coming for me, guys. We're kind of finishing up this little build with a tiny outdoor kitchen, which I am in love with that kind of stone kitchenette thing. I think that was so cute, and I had to build a little one outdoors, and I think that the way I kind of pushed the kitchen into the trees, while there is a little bit of clipping, I think that it kind of works and it makes it kind of blend much better. I don't know. So that is pretty much everything of the update which I've experienced so far. There are probably a couple of small things which I'm missing, but yeah, I don't know. Again, guys, let me know all of your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear everything that you've got to say on the Discord. You know, on Thursday when the update came out, we were all saying how we were just so overwhelmed, but in the best way. It's been so fun to kind of see so much new life breathed into the Animal Crossing community. But yeah, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. This build took me a long time to do. If you have any thoughts or suggestions, please feel free to leave them in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll see you again soon.